Greetings, enophiles everywhere, and welcome back to another thrill-packed episode of Wine Down from Specs, sponsored by Nomocork for the very latest in high-tech closure technology. Today I'm introducing a very interesting guy. He's very worldly, been around the world, but he's a California guy kind of living the dream. And I'd like to introduce Oded Shakked. Oded of Longboard Wines. And Oded, tell us your story. I think it's compelling.
Well, living the dream is definitely something we like to say about ourselves. I'm really an Israeli surf bum who fell in love with wine and ended up coming to California to study winemaking, and the rest is just history. But it is true that growing up in Israel, I've been a surfer in the Mediterranean since I was a little kid. And I used to go, especially after my military service, we have mandatory military service, I used to go surf in the Atlantic coast of Europe every year, in France, Spain, Portugal, and that's where the good waves were, and that's where I fell in love with wine. Also through friends of the family, I learned about UC Davis and realized that, wow, you could actually study winemaking. What a great, before that I thought, you're born to parents that have a chateau, you learn how to make wine. I didn't know you could actually go to school and study winemaking. So I did just that, went to UC Davis in '84, and by the time I graduated, I had both champagne experience with Chandon for a couple of harvests, and then I did the '87 harvest at Chateau Lafite. I was the American intern at Chateau Lafite in Pauillac. So I had both Bordeaux and Champagne experience, got hired as an intern by the Jordan family, stayed with them for 18 years. I was the winemaker for J Vineyards and Winery for 18 years, and always wanted to make Syrah. So in '98, I exchanged the race for production space. Started my own little brand so I could tax back my surf trips, and it just grew from there. And since '05, I've been doing it solo in town of Hillsburg. I have 7 acres of my own where I grow Merlot, Malbec, which we'll drink later, and Syrah, and the rest I buy from my friends and neighbors, all in the Russian River area. I make a Chardonnay from the Winegrower Vineyard. I make some Pinot Noir from their fruit. I buy from De La Montaña, from the Ledbetter family. So this is great. I'm in a region where there's a lot of diversity. So that really gives me a lot of little paints and different brushes to play with when I make wine. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Boy, you talk about a pedigree in winemaking. Okay, so you started in Israel. Now, how far back does that go? At least 2,500 years?
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, France, there's Champagne and Bordeaux. What a pedigree.
Well, thanks. I like to be eclectic. I think that's one of the greatest things about winemaking. If you would have asked me when I was a little boy what I wanted to be, there were 2 things I wanted to be. One of them was Leonardo da Vinci, and the other one was a pirate. But I think being a winemaker is a nice kind of a mix of both, because you meet, it's art, it's science, it's agriculture, it's business. It's
welcome to piracy.
Exactly. You get to go to Texas, you get to go to North Carolina, you get to go to Canada. It's great. It's you can see I'm still smiling. Been doing it for 30-something years, and I'm still enjoying it.
And where you go, you bring wonderful wine. So what we have here to open up today is a sparkling wine, which is on its way to Texas now. But tell us about your sparkling wine.
All right, so this is a very unique Methode Champenoise wine. This is, I think, the closest thing to a grower champagne from the U.S. So this wine is made for 100% Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, only those 2 varieties, all from the Russian River. It's a Russian River label. I only use the free-run fruit from that, and what's unique about this wine, and that comes from my years with a different company, is that this wine is all barrel fermented, so in all neutral French oak barrels that I buy from some Chardonnay producers. And what that allows that wine to have is a little bit of a creaminess that is not available when you do everything in stainless steel. So I don't know what you think about what you're tasting, but this wine is almost bone dry. It's the very lowest level of sugar of the brut category, but yet it doesn't take the enamel of your teeth, right? It's got a roundness to it. It doesn't have an oak character in it, but since it was barrel fermented and aged a little longer before it was bottled for the second time, for the second fermentation, then it has a little attenuation of the fruit character. So you get a little bit more advanced character and a little bit of a roundness that you don't get from a traditionally made Mouton Champenoise in California.
And it seems like you're taking full advantage of that secondary lees treatment as well, because that softens it up quite a bit. This is delicious.
Thank you very, very much. At Longboard, of course, and it's not just because of surfing, but it definitely is related, the key word for me is balance.
I think you caught the wave here, my friend.
I tried to. I tried to.
Excuse me. Well, it has a little or big brother here. What are you going to tell me about this? You say this is
well,
a
this
Merlot
is a
blend?
Merlot Malbec from my own estate vineyard. It's a field blend, so it's not unlike a blend that happens in the cellar where you take Merlot from one barrel and Malbec from another blend. This is actually how the grapes are grown. I bought that vineyard in 2005 from Dick Arrowwood, from Arrowwood Vineyards, and that's how it was planted, and I just kept on the tradition. It's a pretty old vines, and it's a Merlot vineyard with about, depends on the year, about 12 to 14% to 15% Malbec in it, and they just grown together, picked together, fermented together. And what I love about this is that it's a little cooler region, Bordeaux variety, which expresses a little bit more blue fruit character, not just red fruit character. So you got a little bit of a blueberries or a cassis. This is my favorite and my go-to filet mignon wine. A rare filet mignon, just salt and pepper, kind of rare. This is what I would like to drink with it. And I really have to thank all the people who were involved in the movie Sideways, because they eliminated half my competition in the Merlot category, because everybody's gotten out of Merlot. I love doing that variety, and I love drinking this wine. And
Merlot is a
growing
beautiful variety. It truly is, sideways or not. But this is a beautiful blend of both. And you suggested going with a nice steak. Well, we kind of enjoy our red meat in these parts. So
I can see that.
This is a beautiful compliment to whatever your red wine fare might be. So, well, Oded, let me thank you very much for coming by here and sharing your story with us and with our audience. And audience, please come back and see us for another episode of Wine Down, coming soon to a spec store near you. Until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again. Oded.